Hi everyone, for tonight's Nightcap and review, I'm having a water and we will be discussing A Realm of Masks and Shadows by Payton Rose. This is a book I received as an ARC, but of course I'm going to give my honest opinion. These are the tropes and these are the content warnings. I will say in the copy I received from the author, there are no content warnings listed, as well as I checked their website and there are none listed there. Now, this can change in the final version that is published, does have content warnings, but as of right now, I am not aware of any. So the ones that I've written down are things I noticed as I was reading the books so that you are aware of what you're getting into if you choose to read this book. So what's my rating? I will say it was really hard for me to rate this book. I would say I was at a solid 3 for most of this book. There were certain instances where I'd be like, okay, I think I could inch this up a little bit, maybe a 325, even maybe a 350, but I was still relatively on the lower end of the scale as I was reading this book, at a 3 or 325. But that's for about 80% of the book. The last 20% really bumped it up for me and it became a 3.75. Now, the reason why, as amazing as that last 20% was for me, it didn't bump it to a 4, we'll get into later. So first, what's this book about? So this book starts off with Leah, our female main character, being sent to a mental health facility after she has been accused of unaliving her brother. She is not deemed unfit to stand trial due to her lifelong mental health issues. As a child, she was accused of having an overactive imagination, seeing shadows and seeing souls. But as she got older and it got worse, she was basically deemed to have mental health issues and deemed mentally unstable. So when she was accused of unaliving her brother, that basically made her unfit for trial and to instead be sent to a mental health facility. However, when she arrives at the facility, traumatized by what she's been through and what she's seen with her brother's unaliving, because she was there to witness it, the facility actually turns out to be very oppressive and have abusive personnel, so it's in fact not really helping those that are within its walls. So while trying to survive everything that she's going through within the facility, she does in fact meet some amazing people who actually believe her when she says she sees souls and tries to help them. The reason why they believe her? They're Greek gods and goddesses who have been waiting for a child of prophecy to appear at this facility, and they believe her to be that child. So what does this prophecy state? Well, this prophecy states that she will become the queen of the Titans and either help the gods of Olympus or be their downfall. Before any of that can happen, however, she has to be tested and gain control of her abilities. And she has to stay safe, not just from those within the facility who are on power trips and are hurting the patients within the facility, but she also is being hunted by people outside the facility who would seek to take control of the prophecy and take control of her so they can awaken the Titans and start the war to be all wars. So what are my thoughts on this book? Again, I had some trouble rating it, but eventually I did land on a 3.75. I do want to state I did enjoy this book, and I never considered DNFing it. The first 80% of this book I would call a softer, gentler read. That's not to say it was boring in any way. It was just when I think of, or what I've experienced typically with Chosen One, prophecy, and fantasy novels, there's usually some epic quest. There are these high energy battles or tasks they have to accomplish that really test them and their resolve so that they are ready for the big bang at the end. For this book, the female main character definitely was tested, but it wasn't some epic quest. It was all within this one facility, and it was her enduring these trials so that she would become strengthen her resolve in wanting to protect mortals. So I totally see what the author was trying to accomplish, and it fit with this type of female main character. She is what I would say a softer female main character. She's not weak in any way. She's softer, gentler, but she has that inner strength that allows her to stand up and want to defend other people. So she definitely has that core of steel, and when you push her past her limits, especially when she sees someone in pain because of someone else, by someone else's actions, she turns into a fiery badass. So she is definitely a female main character I typically don't read, but this type of journey that she was going on fit this character, and I enjoyed the female main character. So if that's the first 80%, what about the last 20%? Well, I will say for me, the last 20% is the part I enjoyed the most. It's when things really picked up with secrets being revealed, betrayals being revealed, twists and turns, and a big surprise as it pertains to the female main character I didn't see coming. So I'm really curious how the author is going to set up the next book, because this does leave on a cliffhanger. It is an ongoing series. How many books in this series? I don't know, but I am really curious how she's going to write her way out of how she ended ended this book with the next book. But with Greek gods and goddesses, I'm sure there'll be magic involved and it'll be an epic story. So if that ending was so enjoyable, why didn't I rate it at a 4 or higher? Well, I will say there is one element of this that I did not quite enjoy, probably being a me issue and how confrontational I can be, is that I totally get what the author was trying to do. She's trying to test the female main character and, like I said, test her resolve, strengthen her so that she's prepared for what's to come her way. But at times when she's getting these beatings, you have literal Greek gods and goddesses, one being the god of war, sitting at a table doing nothing. They are helping to pick her up afterwards, but again, there's abuse going on in this facility, and their champion is getting the shit beat out of them, and they're just sitting there with all their godlike powers. So again, I totally get what the author is trying to accomplish. You're trying to test the female main character so she's ready for the big challenges to come her way. I'm just saying, for me, it irked me a little bit to have an all-powerful god sitting next to her doing nothing. But this is an exciting book. I loved how it ended. With the way it ended, if that energy carries over to the next book, I totally see this being starting off at a 4 for me. I am really curious to see, again, how she fixes how she left this book and how she ended it. So I will be reading the next book. This book, if it sounds like something you should read, and again, just because it may not have been a 4 for me at this point doesn't mean it won't be for you. Reading is subjective, and there are so many things in this book I did enjoy that, again, I am planning to read the next one. This book will be available May 17th, so make sure to give it a download. It's definitely an enjoyable read. So I hope everyone has a good night and happy readings.